21st of April, Rabbi Furst Pierke Avos Pesach.
Right, as Lou mentioned, this is Rabbi Sloan first she was Samanavshi. Yerushalayim Care Zoom, learning Kaddish Pesach. Let's see, we left off Salem Aid.
Yotzienu, I think.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, fine. Okay, go ahead. Let's begin and we'll discuss some things as we go along. Hashem.
Yotzienu Hashem Mitzrayim Biad Chazaka Uvizron Netuya Uve Mora Gadol Uve Oros Uve Mofsim. Hashem brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, with great awe, with signs and with wonders. Ve'otzienu Hashem miMitzrayim. Hashem brought us out of Mitzrayim. Lo al yidei malach, not through a angel. Velo al yidei saraf, not through a seraph. Velo al yidei shaliach, not through a messenger. Ava ella haKadosh Baruch Hu bich vodo uva atzmo, but rather the Holy One, blessed is He, in His glory Himself. Shnei Amar, va'avarti be'eretz Mitzrayim b'layla hazeh v'hi kesi kol b'chor ha'eretz Mitzrayim me Adam ba'ad behema u'v'chol elokei Mitzrayim e'eseh shefatim ani Hashem. As it says, I will pass through the land of Egypt on that night. I will slay all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from man to beast, and upon all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgments. I, Hashem. So,
right.
this,
go ahead.
This seems contradictory because we learned that the Malach HaMavet was the one that went and killed the firstborn. And yet it says, I and not an angel.
No, so again, let's look at the phrase again. Let's take a look at the phrase again. Let's read over the phrase.
Lo al yedei malach, v'lo al yedei saraf, v'lo al yedei shaliach, ella hakadosh baruch hu bichvodo uve atzmo.
Okay, but what was the previous statement that this is referring to?
Hashem brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand, with an outstretched arm, with great laws, with signs and with wonders. So you're saying it's not referring to the killing of the firstborn?
Apparently not.
That's one of the outstretched arms and mighty hands and signs and wonders that He killed the firstborn, isn't it?
Well, but God is going to darshan the psukim here. When you go into he's going to expand on these psukim. But this is talking about the etzem, the yitzia of Klal Yisrael from Mitzrayim. That was orchestrated entirely by Kadosh Baruch Hu, the destruction of the Egyptian firstborn. So that was also orchestrated by Kadosh Baruch Hu. But that was done through the shliach. That was done through the Malach HaMavet.
Oh, but it says, oh, here, it says in the next section. All right, let me read the next section. Let's see, where were we? Okay, yeah. V'lo al yedei saraf, v'lo al yedei shliach, ella hakadosh baruch hu bichodo uva He Hashem in his glory by himself. Shnei Amar, as it says, Vayav v'avarti be'eretz Mitzrayim. I will pass through the land of Egypt, B'layla, at night, on that night, V'hi kesi kol b'chor be'eretz Mitzrayim, and I will slay all the firstborn of the land of Egypt. May Adam v'ad behema, from man to beast. Uv'chol Elokei Mitzrayim, and all the gods of Egypt. Aseh shifatim ani Hashem. I will execute judgments. I am Hashem. And then it continues. V'avarti be'eretz Mitzrayim. I will pass through the land of Egypt. B'layla hazeh, on that night. Ani v'lo malach. I am no angel. V'hi kesi chol b'chor be'eretz Mitzrayim. And I will slay all the firstborn of Egypt. Ani below seraph. I am not a seraph. V'chol Elokei Mitzrayim, and all the gods of Egypt. Okay, that's it. So it clearly says that it's Hashem that's doing the firstborn. What about the Malach HaMavet?
Okay, so I mean, and now where is there mention of the Malach HaMavet?
Good question. Is that not correct? That the Malach HaMavet,
Well, I mean, Kadosh Baruch Hu directed, it was actually, so to speak, using a muscle. Let's say someone slays someone with a sword, right? So he takes a sword and he slays the person dead, right?
right?
So the person himself is slaying the person, but the sword is what's actually doing is used as the medium of the to bring the death blow. But the person himself is wielding the sword. And so it could be in that same sense, Kadosh Baruch Hu slayed the Bikurim, and the Malach HaMavet was the sort of the sword that Hashem was wielding at the time.
Okay, I hear the muscle, but the problem I have is why make the whole point of saying I am not an angel, and then say, well, the angel is the instrument.
Well, first
Say why you're not an angel.
Well, first we have to see where it says. First, we have to see where it speaks about the Malach HaMavet and what context it is. Let's see where that is.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that from.
Should be explicit. Should be mentioned openly.
Well, after this, it goes on to other topics.
Right.
I'm just leafing through here. I don't really see where it would mention that.
Where could that be? Where could that be?
commentary somewhere. Maybe it's in the Gemara or something, I don't know.
Um,
I can get a, another Haggadah that has commentary in it.
okay, we could see, that's an idea.
Let me see if I can find a better Haggadah. This Haggadah I have here is just, just the text, really. It's not, doesn't have any commentary.
Right, right.
I'm gonna take them to your farm and maybe they stop at the store and buy something.
Okay, yeah, what did we find here?
Yeah, I got a bunch of Haggadah's commentary now. I'm trying to find a place where we are. My granddaughter broke her leg.
Oh, wow. How did that happen?
Apparently she was in the stroller and the stroller tipped over. And she fell and then the stroller landed on her leg.
Oh. So she's in a cast?
Yeah, she needs a cast and my wife's going over there to watch all the other kids while they take her to the hospital.
Wow. So poor Shlomo. When did it happen? Just now?
No, it happened on Shabbos. Uh, but you know, we didn't know that it was broken. But they were carrying her everywhere. She wasn't walking on it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's after the four sons, right?
Yes. Um,
Here we are. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so here it says Shibbolei Haleket suggests in the name of his brother, the Binyamin, when the good Haggadah says that there were no agents involved when God took the Jews out of Egypt, it is referring only to the 10th plague, as the supporting verse clearly indicates, the smiting of the firstborn. Concerning the other 9 plagues, however, the Torah always mentions the role that Moses and Aaron played in the onset of that particular punishment. It is this role that the verse in Numbers refers to when it mentions a messenger. As far as the verse concerning the destroyer, I presume that the destroyer is the Malach HaMavis, Maseh Nisim explains that when someone acts on behalf of someone else out of his own free will, only then can he be called an agent for that person. However, if the agent is completely subservient to the one who sent him and does not have the ability to contravene the sender's instructions, the agent is, in fact, no more than a tool in the hand of the sender, much like a club in the hand of a policeman. The destroyer was such a tool, as the Torah testifies. He will not permit the destroyer to enter. It's not giving references, it's not telling me where it's getting this from.
Mhm.
It just says the Torah. The destroyer completely subject to the directives of the one who sent it.
Right.
Actually, according to several commentators, the word hamashchis should not be translated as the destroyer, but as the plague. According to one explanation of Abarbanel, it refers to the irate Egyptians who wanted to stop the Jews' slaughter of the lambs, which they considered sacrilegious. According to these interpretations, of course, the contradiction disappears entirely. Abarbanel also cites the opinion of Ron, who explains that God was accompanied by angels during the plague of the firstborn. Thus, he attended to this duty personally, as the Haggadah says, but the destroyer was also present to do his bidding. Maseh Hashem suggests that the destroyer brought a pestilence upon the Egyptians. It was God who actually killed the firstborn among them. He uses this approach to resolve several other difficulties in this passage. Firstly, why did all Jewish houses have to smear the doorpost with blood as a sign, and not just those who were where there was a firstborn? Also, if the destroyer could not distinguish between Jew and Egyptian without the help of a sign, how could he differentiate between the firstborn and the non-firstborn? The answer is that the destroyer certainly could not distinguish between Jew and Egyptian, much less between firstborn and non-firstborn. Thus, he struck all the Egyptians with pestilence, but he spared those houses where he saw blood smeared. This explains why, when God began to cause the deaths of the firstborn, the Egyptians who had all been stricken with illness said, "We are all dying." Yet, not realizing that the punishment of death was limited to the firstborn. Thus, all the Jewish homes needed protection from him. This also explains why the Torah says, "Plague of the destroyer will not be among you." Not only would there be no death among them, but for God would not permit that. But even the pestilence, which was entrusted to the hands of the destroyer, would not affect them if they would smear their doorposts with blood as a sign. Yalkut Shimoni brings the following explanation in the name of the Gra. Based on their numbers, the rules of probability would indicate that several Jews should have died of natural causes that night. Therefore, God promised the Jews that no Jews would die that night. He would not allow the destroyer, the angel of death, okay, there it says it explicitly, to enter their homes on that night. The plague of the firstborn was indeed administered directly and solely by God. And the destroyer mentioned in the verse is totally related to this plague.
Mhm.
There's more. Should I continue?
Yeah, sure. Very good. It's very good. Yeah.
Okay, so how does the Haggadah see the verse that God acted alone and not through an angel? Kolbo explains that since the word Hashem was already mentioned in the preceding verse, quote, "And Hashem heard our cry and he saw," end quote, the Torah could have simply continued using the pronoun he. He brought us out of Egypt. Since the verse repeats Hashem's name, then God understands that this is to indicate a special direct intervention by God. At the end of it. Okay, that's the end of that comment. Yeah, that's the end. So
Okay, yeah,
it seems to be saying that there was a Malachim Avos. But he was doing something a little bit different. He was bringing the plague. And not the actual death of the firstborn. And it was the plague that was prevented by the blood. Is that what you heard me read?
part of it. There were several explanations there. They're all worth reviewing. Basically, though, is that when we're making reference to the mashkis, that seems to be a reference to the normal course of events. If there's a certain amount of destruction that is in the world at any given time, and that was suspended. That was suspended at the time of Makas Bechoros. It was not the normal form of people passing from this world. There was a special intervention from HaKadosh Baruch Hu that led to the death of the firstborns directly. It wasn't because of any natural causes.
Right.
Right.
But there was a natural plague.
Oh, right.
And that's why it mentions the destroyer.
Right. Even that it was a Hiddush that even that natural destruction that normally takes place under normal circumstances, even that was suspended at the time.
Right, because we have the fact that no Jews died, even the ones that would have naturally died.
Right. So it's the exact opposite. It doesn't say anything anywhere that the destroyer was destroying. It says that the destroyer was stopped from destroying.
Right. Right. Interesting. Okay.
So I think that would be that's a very good answer, I think. If that sits well with you.
Okay, good. I'm glad we did that. So let's see, where are we now? We're at
Let's see, well, we're now, okay, that brings us to Biad Chazaka.
Yad Chazaka. Yad Chazaka, got it. With a strong hand. Zo Hadever Kama Shene'amar Hine Ad Hashem Hoya B'miknecha Asher B'sadeh B'susim B'chamorim B'gemalim. Bakar uvatzon dever kaved ma'od. So this is the pestilence, as it says. See, the hand of Hashem is against your livestock that are in the field. Horses, donkeys, camels.
They were all stricken. They were all stricken with the dever.
Right, and cattle and sheep, a very severe pestilence.
Right. If you notice, it doesn't say that, well, okay, I mean, this was dever. Doesn't mention anything about, well, Baka Betzon. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Took care of all of them. All the livestock, right?
Says horses, and yet we know that at the end of the story, we're gonna have an army. Hold on a second, yes,
All right, I'm gonna leave in about 5 minutes,
okay,
and so, we'll need to pay her at 11.
okay, 180
Yeah, 180,
at 11,
that's correct.
okay,
I'm gonna go take the kids to the, Ruffles kids to the park, get them out of the house,
okay,
some space.
great, thank you. Sorry, Rabbi, so, my wife isn't going, and, I've got the cleaning woman here, and also I've got some, crew coming to clean the walkway at 10:25, according to their estimate. So,
Ah,
probably we should just quit at 10:25.
okay, well, whatever's convenient for you, that's okay.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so I was gonna ask you, we know that we're gonna have the whole army of Paro with all the chariots and the horses. Coming to attack the Jewish people. Where are these horses coming from? They're just getting destroyed in this pestilence.
So I think that's one of the common questions that's asked about this. And I think if it mentions that there were those which were in the Sada, right? Right, those which in the field, right? But if they
Right.
were not in the field, they wouldn't have been affected.
Oh, which are in the field. Which
Yeah,
are
I
in
think
the
so.
field. So the royal horses were probably in the royal stables.
Probably. I mean, still quite a lot of horses, but
Right. Right.
I mean, look, either way, there are a lot of horses, even if it was in the Sada.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's see, where are we? 131, 132. Uhizroa nituya, an outstretched arm, zo ha cherev. This is the sword. Kama shene'amar, as it says, the charbo shalufa biyado nituya al Yerushalayim. This is the sword, as it says. The charbo shalufa biyado.
Harbo is a sword, a shalupa, unscathed sword, meaning it was in his hand. It was an exposed sword. The sword was poised, ready to strike.
Exposed, okay. His sword that's exposed. Interesting, he uses a different word for sword.
Yeah.
Charbo, you know, that's the same word. And stretched out over Jerusalem. So that's funny because where's Jerusalem get into the picture here?
Right. This is a good point. Why are they picking this pasuk? And again, all we're trying to say, Yad Chazaka, is that's, well, excuse me, Zroa Natuya, the Cherev. We're trying to prove it's Cherev, the sword.
Right.
So it's simply a drasha that's proving the, making it, the Zroya Natuya, an outstretched arm, is a reference to a sword which is being held in an outstretched way. Natuya al Yerushalayim, it's Natuya, it's outstretched over Yerushalayim.
Uh-huh,
So just as the hand, so to speak, was outstretched over the Brian, right? Likewise, it was outstretched in terms of with the sword, and that's indicative from the pasuk, which says that if it's outstretched, the Natuya, that which is outstretched over Yerushalayim, was referring to a sword which is out over Yerushalayim as
Right.
well.
right. Uvamora gadol, great terror. So gilui Shekhinah. This is the revelation of the Shekhinah, Tamashin Amar, as it says, O Hanita Elokim Lavo La Chas Lo Goy Nikerev Goy Bima. Well, let's translate up to here. Let's see. So, or has God ever attempted the Hanisa is to attempt
Tests, like that's like tests, right?
to take to himself a nation from the midst of another nation. The Masos Beosos Uve Moftim Uve Milchama Uve Yad Chazaka Uve Zroa Netuya Uve Morim Gedolim Kichol Asher Asa Lachem Hashem Elokeichem Mitzrayim Beinecha. So has Hashem ever attempted to take unto himself a nation from the midst of another nation by trials, signs, wonders, by war, with a mighty hand and outstretched arm, and by great terrors? It's all that Hashem your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes.
Okay, so now this is another pasuk which the Haggadah is going to expand upon.
Right. Oros, the signs. That Hamata Kama Shneamar. This is the staff, as it says, the es mata hazeh tikach biyadecha. This staff, take it in your hand. Asher taseh bo es ha osos. That you will do with it the signs. So is it the staff that's a sign, or is it the things that he did with the staff that's a sign?
It seems as if the things that were done through the use of the staff.
It's interesting because staves play such a role in the fantasy world. Wizards carry staves. They use them to perform their magic.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Definitely a symbol of something.
Yeah, what, yeah, what could it be? 1 second. Also, matter.
I went to a science fiction and fantasy convention many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And some people came in costume. And one guy came not only in costume, but he had a staff.
Right.
And the staff had it looked like a crystal ball on the top that glowed. He must have gone through a certain, and this was years ago. This is before a lot of the modern electronics. This was this is when I was in my 20s. So it's probably like 50 years ago. He must have gone through a lot of trouble to rig that up so that the light would go on when he wanted it to go on. Was that
Interesting.
batteries dug into the body of the staff somewhere,
Interesting, yeah.
wires and so on.
Yeah, but but I mean, I see that there is the question you're asking is really a question that is asked. He says, what is the mata? What is the mata in terms of the osios? It says osios mata. That it's they say that the mata really was the kli osios. It was the object which was used to perform the osios, but it wasn't the osios itself.
Uh-huh. Okay.
One second. The Ramban down, 1 second. Ki Moshe Yasa Navi, Ezapur, Dimyu, Lama, Shikra, yeah, I don't see I don't see a quick answer. It's a complicated quick answer.
Yeah.
But I guess since maybe we could just say simply that since that was the object by which all the makos were initiated with, right? So that was the fact that they could point and identify there was a specific beginning for each makkah, there was a specific action done for each and every makkah. So you would attribute that wondrous thing also to the object which is causing those things to happen, which was either makkah.
Right.
Apparently. Apparently.
Okay. The Muffatim wonders, Zed Hadam, this is the blood. Tamashin Amar, as it says, Binasati Moftim Vashamayim Uvarts. And I will not Sati, I will put Moftim wonders in the heaven and the earth. I don't get it. What's the wonders in the heaven and the earth have to do with blood?
Well, because this is Mosim, you see there's a pasuk, Sati Mosim b'Shamayim va'aretz, right?
Yeah,
So. That Mophis, that wonder is the Dom. How do we know? That it's not really coming to tell you that the Pussik's not coming to prove that this Mophis that we're referring to is Dom. But it's explaining that
the guy is here. I gotta
Um,
go, Rabbi.
all right, Joe. Very good. All right, let's see. Tomorrow's Erev Pesach. I'm not sure if there'll be much. tonight, tomorrow.
here.
You're here? Okay, I'm coming out.
Here. Okay.
Right.
Okay, sorry, Rabbi.
Okay. Good.
So tomorrow, nothing, because tomorrow is Erev Pesach, right?
Right. Right.
And the next day, nothing, because that's Pesach. That's Tuesday. Wednesday, we're gonna meet at 9:30.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, great. See you then.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Bye-bye.
All right, Sean. Sure.